storm before the window seals. Crack the architecture open on a job nobody believed was real. Got the weapon, read the manifest. The receipts stop my blood cold. My name was on the target line before the job was ever sold. The grief storm has been running for 400 years without a break. A gravitational anomaly that reverses physics and swallows light and makes inside the storm. The floor is the ceiling and everything falls inward and up. The weapons facility inside the eye was built by someone with a different kind of luck. 11 minutes every 40 years the eye opens and the storm goes still. One way in, one way out, no second attempt, no one with the skill. I plotted the approach across 6 sectors on a trajectory nobody had mapped. Crossed into the storm boundary at 5 minutes to the window and never looked back. The eye opened at exactly the second I entered the outer wall. 11 minutes, facility ahead, no authority watching at all. Physics running backward did not stop me from moving at operational pace. I know how to navigate a room where the floor is also the ceiling of the space. 8 minutes left when I reached the inner chamber. 6 when I found the vault. 4 when I cracked the containment lock, which was entirely my fault for being too fast. The weapon inside was smaller than anything that rewrites existence should be. I secured it and opened the manifest before the manifest could process me.
3 minutes left in the eye. 2 when I read the first line. 1 when the blood left everything. 30 seconds when I ran.
11 minutes in the eye of the grief storm before the window seals. Crack the architecture open on a job nobody believed was real. Got the weapon, read the manifest. The receipts stop my blood cold. My name was on the target line before the job was ever sold. The weapon does not destroy, it rewrites the target back until they never existed in any record at all. Every trace, every memory, every echo removed before the fall. The receipt shows the weapon has already been fired at the coordinates where I was born before I ever ran a job or built a log. At the year before the first mission, before the first scar, before the first fog. Which means whoever built this job put me in this room to read a receipt that says I was already erased before I could take my first operational seat. And I am standing in the eye of the grief storm with 11 minutes behind me. Which means either the weapon missed or it has not arrived yet and is still traveling to find me. Or there is something in my architecture that the weapon was not designed to defeat. I took the weapon, I secured it in the hold. The client can explain the receipt when the payment clears is told. If I was fired at and I am standing in this side with the weapon in my possession, then either the weapon failed on the original session or I am what survives after the universe tries to make a correction.
3 minutes left in the eye. 2 when I read the first line. 1 when the blood left everything. 30 seconds when I ran.
11 minutes in the eye of the grief storm before the window seals. Crack the architecture open on a job nobody believed was real. Got the weapon, read the manifest. The receipts stop my blood cold. My name was on the target line before the job was ever sold. Let me be precise about the logic without the sentiment getting in the way. If the weapon rewrites the past and I exist in the present, then one of 3 things can be said. The weapon has not reached the past it was aimed at yet, and I am ahead. Or there is something in my structure that this weapon cannot touch or sway. I know the portal scar does not respond to standard dimensional physics or any recorded law. I know it predates every instrument I carry and every record I have seen before. And whatever burned the mark into my forearm in southern Dillon, Illinois. Burned it before this weapon was built and before this job was brokered as a ploy. I delivered the weapon back to the channel that hired me. I kept a copy of the receipt, and I am the only person in any dimension who knows I am the target. It cannot be. 11 minutes in the eye of the grief storm before the window seals. Architecture open on a job nobody believed was real. Got the weapon, read the manifest. The receipts stop my blood cold. My name was on the target line before the job was ever sold. Storm sealed, window closed behind me. Erased before this mission started. I completed the mission. The receipt is wrong. Next job.